Hi, it's Deborah Bishop, and I'm here introducing our brand new featured interview. This is a collective. In fact, it's excerpts from a conference that was recently in town in the beginning of February. It was called, can you see this? The Big I. The Big I conference took place at Scarrett Bennett, and it was part of Wisdom House curriculum, and it was indeed a fantastic weekend exploring interfaith, interspiritual, and integral. Visions of a new spiritual tomorrow. So what you're about to see are people who attended the event as well as people who spoke at the event. Just to give you an overall flavor of what the Big I was all about and what the conversation is that is interfaith, or as one of the speakers says, spiritual but not religious. What does it mean to our future? I hope you enjoy, and I know some of the segments are a little noisy because there was so much going on, but please endure. It's well worth it. Peace. What brought you to the Big I conference?
Well, I'm a ordained interfaith minister, and I've been very active in the early years, i.e. 2008, 2009, in the creation of the interfaith movement. Mm-hmm. What is interfaith? How do we differentiate it? Do we differentiate it? Is it differentiatable in the beginning? And because of life circumstances, I haven't been as active in the various organizations like OUNI and World Alliance of Interfaith Clergy, but I've kind of kept my interest on the periphery. And when I found out about the Big I, here I am to see what kind of progress and what movement the movement has made over the last 3-4 years. And to tell you quite frankly, what I'm seeing, I'm liking. It's pretty, it's baby steps, but it's movement, and I love the fact that we have so much interest in it, because I believe interfaith is the faith path that most people are looking for, if we can get it right. I think spiritual but not religious is the most fastest growing faith people identify themselves with.
Right. Do you feel it's essential to us at this point to have that level of acceptance?
Yeah, I do. It's been around. I mean, the original seminary, or one of the early seminaries, started in 1976, so the idea's been around for a long time. But it's not only that we need acceptance for recognition purposes, but we need acceptance so people understand as an alternative to not being involved with faith paths. And this is an answer to a lot of people's questions.
Got it. And if you were to put one wish out there for the completion of this particular conference for all that attend and beyond, what would it be?
Whew, one wish. Just one, huh?
Just one. Make it a good one.
I would really like to see us get beyond the conversation phase and start seeing interfaith as a movement. And most people don't like this word, become more institutionalized. And I don't mean that in a negative sense, but more organized, more structured, so that we can begin to make progress on a number of areas, building congregations, increasing the effectiveness of ordination, of preparing ministers for the work, educating the community at large of our existence, marketing in essence, and continuing education, publication. So there's a lot of things, standards bodies. I think there's a lot of things that will help the organization. If there's one wish, it's to begin the process of institutionalizing, in a positive sense of institutionalizing.
Got it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So what brought you to the Big I?
Well, I volunteer here at Wisdom House, and I'm an interfaith minister, so I'm very interested in integral interfaith, interreligious dialogue, and I attended the interfaith breakfast that they have yearly here on Wednesday, and it was wonderful to see so many people of different faiths interested in this whole movement. And I knew about the Big I conference. In fact, I'm responsible for bringing Kel Kearns and Cynthia Lucas here, filmmakers who made the movie Globalized Soul, which we'll be seeing today at 8 o'clock. So I'm very much, this is very much a part of my ministry and my heart.
So Linda, what do you hope will come out of this weekend?
Awareness. I think what's happening is what Rami says, and I agree with him. we just don't know that there's so much going on. We're just not aware of it. And so it's to raise consciousness and awareness to the work that so many are doing here and throughout the world to bring about peace and coexistence and appreciation for one another's differences.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Doctor, what brought you to the Big I Conference?
I was invited to co-present with Dr. Dale Irvin, the president of New York Theological Seminary. Unfortunately, Dr. Irvin was not able to make it, so I'm going to be on that big stage all by myself.
And what are you speaking on today?
The topic that was selected is clergy, educating clergy for multi-faith work in their communities and congregations.
And what do you hope to see come out of this weekend?
That people get a sense of the fact that we already live in an interfaith world and that we should embrace it, and to allow ourselves to be guided, we would be all the richer for it.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Okay, so what brought you to the Big I Conference?
Well, I've been interested in things interfaith for some time. More personally, I combine a Christian path with that of Sufi Islam, and have benefited a lot from that encounter. And so I'm a retired history professor, and I am looking for ways to use what I have learned in my retirement years. So I thought this might be a place where I could begin to figure that out.
So what made you decide to come and speak at the Big I Conference?
Well, part of it was just that I was invited, and I was glad to participate. But what I'm really interested in is this concept that we're all at different places in our lives, whether we're deeply in our tradition or we're off on an adventure as someone who's spiritual, and that we move back and forth, and how to make that work so that we can honor each other's place in life easily. So I'm looking for language to be able to help do that.
Looking for language to be able to help do that?
Yeah, help. So, we all get in a room and somebody might say, well, I'm deeply religious and being deep inside my tradition gives my life value. And to have the language to go, that's great, that's fantastic for you. Now, I'm not there, but that's also fine that I'm not there. We don't have to be at the same place. As a matter of fact, I may be where you are later, and you may be where I am at now at some point. And so find some way to connect there. And that's hard in society right now. So I'm exploring language to see how that might work.
Got it. So what you're really doing is bringing people together in conversation?
Conversation and respect.
Respect.
And toss in a little bit of humility, and I think we've got soup.
Soup?
Got
It
soup.
sounds like a tasty soup.
A tasty soup of humans. Yes, that's great.
So I know you're speaking on spirituality versus, well, I don't know if versus is the right word, but spirituality and religion and how
Right.
they interact.
The popular phrase is spiritual but not religious. And while some people will see it as spirituality versus religion, and some people see it as spirituality with religion, it really is a huge mixed bag of perspectives. So I'm going to give a little talk on that.
Wonderful. And what do you personally hope for this conference when it ends?
Well, I'd like to think that as a working group together, we develop some additional tools to go out in the world and just bring some harmony. We, especially in the United States. In the United States right now, we have become a very diametrically opposed group. In our politics and in our language, there's a lot of inner tension, and I'd like to see that reduced a little bit.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that.